All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to break down a really hardcore quantitative trading system called Resonance Alpha. Its whole purpose is to tackle one of the toughest problems in trading. How do you find a market bottom using actual data instead of just, a gut feeling?
I mean, we've all been there, right? You see this huge price drop, you think this is it, this has to be the bottom, so you jump in and then whoosh, it just keeps on tanking. It's probably one of the most painful feelings in trading. Well, this system is designed to stop that from happening.
So what's the secret sauce here? Well, the core idea is something called double panic. See, the edge this system gives you isn't just about spotting fear in general. No, it's about finding a very, very specific kind of synchronized panic that happens across different groups in the market.
And this, right here, is the huge mistake that most bottom-finding tools make. When the only thing you're looking at is price, you're basically just measuring how fast the knife is falling. You don't have any real insight into why it's falling, and that's how you get your hands cut.
Okay, so Resonance Alpha tackles fear from two completely different angles. On one side, you've got retail sentiment. You can think of this as a measure of how much pain the average small trader is in. It's all about price drawdowns. On the other side, you have institutional sentiment. This is measured by the cost of options, which is basically how much the big dogs are paying for market insurance. When they get scared, they buy protection, and that price skyrockets.
And this is where we get to the core concept: double panic. This is that perfect storm we're looking for. It's that incredibly rare moment when the little guy is being forced to sell everything in a massive loss at the exact same time that the big institutions are paying a fortune to protect themselves.
So the real edge, the alpha, it clicks in at this precise moment of resonance. When you see both retail pain and institutional fear hitting their absolute peak together, well, that's a massive signal that the selling pressure has probably gone way too far and is about to burn out.
So how do we actually track this stuff in the real world? The system uses what's called the Trilogy Toolkit, which is just a cool name for a set of 3 tools that all work together. Let's break down what each one does.
Each part of this toolkit is designed to answer one simple but crucial question. First, the core panic matrix tells us where the potential bottom might be forming. Then, momentum decay tells us when the fear has peaked and it might finally be the right time to make a move. And last, the energy accumulator confirms, is the panic really, truly over? See the logic? It's a sequence. Where, when, and is it finished?
So let's start with Module 1, the core panic matrix. Its only job, its whole purpose, is to constantly scan the market, hunting for that double panic signal. When it finds it, it highlights the exact price zone where this intense, synchronized fear is happening.
Now let's see what this actually looks like on a chart. Look down at the indicator at the bottom. Those orange bars, they tell you retail traders are in extreme pain. But the real signal, what we call the execution zone, is when you see that aqua-colored background light up behind the orange bars. That's the confirmation. It means both retail and institutional panic are firing at once. Orange is a warning. Orange plus aqua is a potential opportunity.
Now let's move on to Module 2, Momentum Decay. This is where it gets interesting. This tool doesn't just look at how much fear there is, it looks at its rate of change. Is the fear getting worse faster and faster, or is it finally starting to slow down? This is all about timing your entry.
And this quote just nails its purpose perfectly. I mean, trying to buy something while panic is still accelerating is just a recipe for disaster. This module's job is to give you a cold, hard, mathematical answer to that one critical question, so you don't jump the gun.
And finally, Module 3, the energy accumulator. If momentum decay is the speedometer of fear, then this module is kind of like the fuel tank. It measures the total volume of panic over time to see if the market has finally reached a point of complete and total exhaustion.
And you can see this pretty clearly on the chart, in that bottom indicator again. As the market is crashing, that red area starts to build up, showing all the panic energy accumulating. But when the sellers are finally tapped out, the area flips to green. That crossover from red to green is the final confirmation we're looking for, a sign the bears have totally run out of gas.
All right, so theory is great, but let's see this thing in the wild. We're going to walk through a real-world case study from back on January 21st, 2026, and see exactly how all 3 modules came together to pinpoint a major market bottom. And we're going to be looking at both the 4-hour chart and the daily chart, because what you really want for a high-conviction trade is alignment. When you start seeing these signals fire across multiple time frames at once, that's when you really need to sit up and pay attention. Okay, first things first,
the core panic matrix. The retail pain index hit a whopping 9.08 on the daily chart. I mean, that's a crazy high number, a historically extreme reading, and that's what triggered both the orange bars and that critical aqua background. So, check. The wear condition was officially met.
Next, we need the timing signal from momentum decay. The key number here hit negative 1.53. Now that little minus sign is everything. It's the green light. It means the acceleration of fear had not just stopped, it had actually reversed. The panic was no longer getting worse. Check. The when signal was a go.
And for the final piece of the puzzle, we look to the energy accumulator for confirmation. The line crossed below its average, and you can see the area flipped from red to bright green. That was the system screaming that the total amount of panic energy in the market was finally spent. It was completely exhausted.
And boom, there you have it. All three modules align perfectly. The matrix gave us the location, the decay indicator gave us the timing, and the accumulator confirmed the exhaustion. According to this system, that is what a high probability bottom looks like.
Okay, so seeing it in action is one thing, but how do you actually apply this yourself? Let's put this all together and boil it down into a simple step-by-step game plan.
Here it is, a simple 3-step process. Step 1, location. You're watching the core panic matrix, and you're waiting for that beautiful aqua background to show up. Step 2, timing. You're watching momentum decay, and you're looking for that bar to flip green. And step 3, confirmation. You're watching the energy accumulator, waiting for that area to turn green. Location, timing, confirmation. Simple as that.
Now, a few really important technical notes. This system needs DVOL data, which comes from the exchange Deribit. So it's really optimized for assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, where you have a ton of options data. It also works best on higher time frames, like the 4-hour and the daily, for those big strategic signals. And, of course, and this is super important, remember that this provides a probabilistic edge. It is not a crystal ball. You always have to use proper risk management.
And that really brings us to a final thought to chew on. This entire system is built on the idea that you can quantify human emotion, and it makes you wonder, is the price you see on the screen an objective fact, or is it just the temporary, measurable result of collective hope and fear? Something to think about.